Do you happen to recall when Trump was debating Kamala and he said that in Springfield, Ohio, they were eating, Haitian immigrants specifically, were eating the cats, eating the dogs, eating the pets of the people who lived there, and everyone scoffed at them and they said, well, they reached out. We reached out to Ohio's government and they said, it's not happening. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. Trust us. We're the government. We'd never lie to you. It's not happening. It's not happening. Trust us. Well, at the time, I really just thought it was Trump being Trump. You know, Trump's one of those people, and most people are, but I think Trump more than most. He's one of those people who will say anything to try and sound like the smartest person in the room. And at the time, that's kind of how I looked at it, because it wasn't that long ago, but honestly, the immigration problem was not at the forefront of my mind. Like, I live in the state of Georgia. It's very diverse down here, mostly because black people never moved away from former slave states. So there's like 30-something% black people, I think like 51% white people, and then the rest is a mix. So for me, diversity's always been kind of normal. Like, honestly, sometimes you can leave your house and go somewhere, and I mean, not like a mega Walmart or something, but you can go to like a Jiffy Lube or get some new glasses or something and never even see a white person the entire time. That's pretty normal in Georgia, honestly, and it never struck me as weird, and I don't really know whether or not it is weird, because there is a lot of black people here, and they're not immigrants. They were, former slaves and such, so that's not exactly super weird to me, but I did sort of notice the immigration issue more and more as I got more and more into politics. And, well,
in Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, that's not so funny anymore, because there's plenty of proof that it is now happening. This isn't in America, mind you. This is in Italy. Thankfully, CDM censored this because I wouldn't want to show it. But it's a Nigerian immigrant apparently eating a cat. They're freshly killed and they're barbecuing it. They're saying, now there is an uncensored picture of that on Twitter, but I don't. It almost looks like they've photoshopped a cat on there, but like it's hard to tell with cats. Like, I mean, it looks like it's alive, but it's hard to tell because cats are so fluffy looking normally. So I'm not really sure. I don't even want to see the uncensored version of this. I've seen other ones. I have other ones on here, which I will be censoring myself. It's just people. Well, I'll get to it, but it's just people barbecuing animals on the side of the road, and it's not really necessarily about the animal. It's about the mentality. I mean, it's a little bit about the animal, like you're just cooking a cat. But okay, like that's messed up, right? Like we don't even need to go into it, right? They're barbecuing a cat. I have to block X because otherwise, God knows what uncensored stuff will end up on here. But you're barbecuing a cat, right? Okay, that's already messed up. I don't think we need to define why that's messed up. I don't think it really matters that it's a cat or a dog or the family's pet pig or whatever. The fact of the matter is that someone just found a wild animal, or maybe not even a wild animal, and decided that they were going. And God, I don't even know if they slaughtered it themselves or if they just found it on the side of the road or something. Like, who knows? I'm honestly not sure which one would be more deranged, but they found it and they decided, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go over to this playground here and barbecue it. I refuse to believe. I don't know if they're actually from Nigeria or if that's just what the story says, but I don't care if they're from Nigeria, if they're from North Sentinel Island. Anyone with a brain would look at that pipe there, the slide. Well, there's like 50 of them. That's a really fun looking playground. Well, okay, it's not really fun looking right now. It's actually horrible to look at right now. But outside of the immigrant barbecuing a cat next to it, that's a good looking playground, honestly. But anyone looking at that, no matter who they are, no matter where they're from, some tribal from North Sentinelese Island, they would look at that and think this must be a place for children to play, right? How could you possibly defend that? Just one glance at that, and you would think this is some sort of play area for children. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. Anyone would think that. So then, why are they thinking that it's okay? Well, because they come from a culture where bad things happen in front of children all the time, right? I mean, like, way back in the Roman era, they didn't really, like, sugarcoat everything. They had a big-ass Roman Colosseum, And everyone knew what happened in there. It wasn't like a secret, like, oh, don't tell kids about that building. Like, everyone knew. Bad things happened all the time in front of people all the time back then, but not so much anymore, at least not in our neck of the woods. So where they're from, maybe that's normal. But what's worrying is that they come over here and they take that mentality. And this is the argument most people make, because it's a reasonable argument to make. You cannot take your country and bring it to our country. That is not really assimilation. That's colonization. And that is the problem. So, here is a video, which I'm going to have to censor, of a guy roasting a, well, it's probably a cat, maybe a dog, I don't know. A woman is very angry at him. And, again, look at where he's doing it.
Non è che io fai strano. Non ho cosa, non vuol dire, qui non siamo a dove vai tu? Dove vai tu? Ora ti mando io in galera, te ne vai, vergogna, guarda che stai a fare, vergognati.
He's waving a knife around. I mean, he's not threatening her or anything, but he's waving a knife around, he's like pointing at her to like go away. The thing's on its back on a smoldering pile of ash with its legs sticking straight up, and he's gutting its stomach right now. And some Italian woman is going full nuclear on him, and deservedly so in this case. So here's a couple pictures from, I think this is also Haitians catching ducks and swans in the UK and Ireland, and you could see like the big shit-eating grin on his face, like just like this is the problem. Like, they can dress like you, they can look like you. I mean, okay, you could say they're brown skin or whatever like that. I don't care about. They can put on sneakers, they can put on jeans, they can put on some sweater pullover and have a big smile on their face and wear glasses, but they're still walking down the side of a road carrying a swan, smiling, and they're probably gonna cook it up and eat it because that's probably why they have it.
There's another tent here. He doesn't seem to want to talk. Now what do we have here? Henrik, sit down, buddy. Henrik, sit.
Well, there's no immigrants shown, but there's a lot of tents shown. This is a guy. This is the best quality there is, and I'm not going to play the whole 3-minute video. But he's removing traps that they've set right outside of their tents. Imagine going to another country, living there in a tent, and setting up cages as traps for geese and swans and ducks to wander into, with the intent. Or for that matter, dogs or cats or really anything, I guess, to wander into, and then they're planning on eating it. Can you just try to imagine that state of mind?
Some sort of trap. At the stick. Where's that rope going to?
Can't really see the rope.
Where's that rope going to? Goes to there. Right. So obviously, when that stick goes, that closes down. So he's either disappearing into his tent now, he is. So who's hunting the ducks? Who's hunting the ducks?
Quite a lot of people in the tents.
Unbelievable, lads.
A few more tents over here.
Anybody in them tents?
Like I said, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but it's just like what a mindset to do that. And here's the guy who's just walking along with the goose in his arms. Now the people laughing, they probably have no idea what's going on. Like, if you saw someone walking down the side of the road in the USA carrying a peacock, you'd probably be like, whoa, what the hell? Is this some guy walking along with the road with a peacock? That's weird. But one and one together.
What is going on here? He's on that swan, man.
What's his name, mate?
What's his name?
I mean, maybe he's just moving it. I don't know, but it's clear that some of these things aren't right exactly what they seem, and other things might not be. But
This guy just cracked the duck's neck, bro, taking it.
can't quite catch what they're saying there. I mean, not that I could understand it anyway. It sounded like it was maybe Arabic or something. Yeah, okay. I mean, I couldn't even make out what language it is. And then there's this, which is well, this is just funny because it's like it's so the government is just so passive on this. Like they just don't care.
This is, I think it might be a swan. I'm not sure, but do you know what a swan is, sir? You know the big white birds that you see on the park? Yeah.
Hershey heads to the kitchen to take a closer look at what's cooking.
You see the bones in this bird? Yeah. Because it's not a chicken, I'm a bit concerned. There's a law against people taking animals off. You told them that, yeah. And it's very serious. It's very serious if that happens.
Concerned that what's in the pot is no chicken.
Very serious, but do you think they'll be punished? Probably not. It would be, I mean, they have kids after all, right? It would be mean to take them away from their kids, right? And I'll probably have to censor this next part. I may as well just censor the food, honestly. It was gross.
Hershey heads to the back garden to look for evidence in the bins.
I know, it's a bit disgusting, isn't it?
And the contents of the bins is a little suspicious.
You see, the problem is there's a hell of a lot of big white feathers in here. Yeah. I know, and problem is, could be anything from goose to swan. For now.
Is that the problem? That it could be anything from goose and swan? Why is she talking to them like they're like fourth graders or something? It's like, yeah, I know, it's a bit gross, it's a bit icky, but so you see these big white feathers that you ripped off of that bird that you slaughtered illegally, that you're eating. You know these big white feathers here. Yeah, well, you see, the problem is that people came over to our country and they took our well, this is the UK, but they came over to our countries collectively, and they're taking their mentality with them with no respect. It's not even respect. They don't think about it. They don't even think about it. They just do. And that's really the main issue. So this is a story from Nebraska. This is back in 2003. And I remember this like it was yesterday. So it's like crazy how fast time flies. But in 2003, I had that backwards, actually. This isn't the Nebraska guy. Two Honduran migrants, they shot down a bald eagle, which they planned to eat in Nebraska. Oh, this is Nebraska. Sorry, I'm confusing two things. Nebraska immigrants, Virginian American. Right, I'm confusing those things. So these two Honduran migrants, illegal migrants, which had an air rifle, shot down a bald eagle, the national bird, a protected animal, in Nebraska, and they planned on eating it. And apparently they couldn't speak English at all, according to the sheriff. Unger said the men spoke no English, and it was not clear if the men understood that the birds were protected under federal law. He was quoted as saying, "I'm trying to be as politically correct as possible when I say this, but I don't know what kind of third world life they're coming from, but it must have been pretty bad." Man, you know what he actually wanted to say. Guys from Nebraska, like, come on. This is unacceptable. Now, the Virginian man that I was going to talk about, this guy, William Curtis Smith, I believe his name was, he is from the USA, as you could probably guess by his name, lives in Virginia. This guy poisoned a bunch of fish heads, which inevitably caused, he did it on purpose, which caused like 20-something hawks and some eagles as well to die, all young birds as well. They weren't like older, well, I don't know that it really matters, but he ended up getting rid of all of them for one reason, because they were killing the ducks that he wanted to hunt. See, this is not an immigrant bringing their own culture or religion or whatever into our countries where it doesn't fit. This is a person who's just a piece of shit, who's doing the wrong thing, and he knew that he was doing the wrong thing. He admitted that he was doing the wrong thing. He admitted that he knew it was illegal, and he got a $9,800 fine, 24 months probation, 50 hours of community service, and 1 day in jail. I don't know if that's really if that's enough or not, but the point isn't really about his punishment. It's not even necessarily about the punishment of the immigrants. It's about the fact that these people are coming over to other countries with their, like, whatever mentality, whatever culture they're bringing over. I mean, the culture of someone who's just going to hunt down wild animals and eat them, like, you have to think, like, even many hundreds of years ago, like back in medieval Europe and stuff, the lords owned the forests, right? You couldn't just go out and hunt whatever. They had game wardens out there. They lived in the forest and protected the animals in the forest, the deers and the boars and whatever. You weren't allowed to just go take whatever you wanted. Even way back then, people owned the forests. And yet now, we have immigrants coming over and just taking what they want. Their culture is different from our culture. Their culture is just go out and hunt wild animals and cook them at a playground. And that's totally fine. And you know what? if they want to live where they live and enjoy the culture that they have where it belongs, that's great. Who cares? Like, I don't care if they want to live over there and be some camel herding nomad in the desert and eating scorpions or whatever. That's their thing, and they're not doing our thing. They're doing their thing in our place. And there's really no way to justify that besides saying they need to go. They need to go. They cannot even understand the mentality that we have, let alone any attempt to assimilate. I mean, there's, like, can they assimilate? Like, is it even possible? Do you think you could rehabilitate them? You put them in some sort of school to teach them how to be an American or a Brit or whatever, and they're going to... well, this is Italy, right? So you think that's going to change them? No. This is just who they are. That's how they were raised. That's how they grew up. They're not going to change. Most of them, anyway. You might have a tiny fraction of them that could change, but that's the way immigrating normally works. Like, that's the way immigrating the right way works, because most people don't want to go to a totally different country simply because they love that country so much. Most people want to stay in their own country. That's just how it works. So why does someone go to another country? Usually to exploit it. Usually to make their own life better. And that is clearly the way it is here. The question is, how terrible, as that sheriff said, how terrible was their life in that country that they have to come over here, living in little tents and setting up cages to catch swans and eat them and cook cats on the side of the road? It's indefensible. How do the Democrats sit here and look at this, or do they just blind themselves? They must just blind themselves to this, because how can they look at this and say that this is okay? How can they look at this happening over and over again and say, yeah, but we can fix them? You can't, though. You can't fix them. They don't want to be fixed. This is what they want their life to be. I mean, they probably want to live in a giant house and have a bunch of free food as well, but given what they have, this is what they're going to be. This is what they're going to do, and that's just the way it's going to stay for as long as they're in the country, which is why, again, they need to be deported. And I'm not sure exactly. I thought Italy was pretty good with this stuff. I thought it was Spain that was bad with it, but maybe Italy's bad with it too. Maybe it was Greece that was good with the deportations. I can't recall. I mean, I know Poland and Hungary are, but I lose track of there's so many European countries that I can't keep track of them all. Come on. Anyway, they need to be deported. It's as simple as that. They're cooking cats in a playground. A really awesome playground, an otherwise awesome playground. They're cooking dogs on the side of the road. This is insane. How is this being tolerated, and how is it being protected? We've reached out to Ohio. We found out that they're not actually eating the dogs and cats. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm not going to trust Ohio on that one, though. I'm going to trust the pictures that I see. Not that I want to, but I'm going to trust these pictures. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please do the YouTube things, and don't eat cats. Seriously, you probably just catch something.